vVv Gaming. They've got Ruff and Hasu. So two exciting players coming up after Zog, but hopefully Zog able to take this one from time, even things up at 1-1. Always like to see Wednesday Night StarCraft go to more and more games.
Yeah, most definitely. I want to see more games as well. It's also very difficult to fall behind 2-0 in a best of 7 series.
Definitely.
So we'll see what's going to happen as Zog is spawned as the blue Zerg player here on the top right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Time on the top left hand side of the map as the red Protoss. Zerg versus Protoss on Shakura's Plateau. And as a Zerg player, Matron, what builds do you normally like to see? I see Shakura's being a macro style of map. Do you see it being the same way?
Yeah, I mean, you're basically forced to macro. The Protoss can get that second base so easily that you have to be able to defend against two base timing attacks, and to do that, you almost need that third base. I really like Lucira's style, where he goes for Roach and Ling with upgrades and economy on this map. And basically with that style, you want to try to deny a third for Protoss. Getting that second very easy for them, but if they venture out for a third, they start dealing with very wide open spaces or trying to defend a huge area going to the natural of that southern base. So you use those roaches, use those lings and your big economy to get good surrounds, good positioning, try to deny that third base. So that's the style that I like on this map. I think a number of Zerg players have used that to success in a number of tournaments on this map as well.
Yeah, but of course, Time is going to throw all of our theory craft out the window as he is not going to be trying to build a Forge Fast Expand or a low ground expansion. Instead, building close to home once again. Meanwhile, Zog is going for, I believe that was a 14 or 13 pool perhaps, as Zog still hasn't shown any signs of getting any gas just quite yet. He may be trying to expand off of that earlier spawning pool, making sure to have at least 4 Zerglings to clear away any pylons and probes, as Time quickly scouts out the wrong position and now will be making his way off to the north.
Yeah, without a gas here, it really signifies that Zog probably going to be going for a fast 3 base. Typically, a lot of Zerg players will cut that gas early on. They won't get Zergling speed. They're going to give up map control if the Protoss wants to take it. And this is sort of a metagame play where on this map you expect Protoss to go for that fast expand, and Zog's going to see that there's no fast expand coming from Time. In fact, he's not even walled off. So we'll see if Zog actually decides to get that gas or whether he does go for that quick third hatchery.
Yeah, right now Time's build is very, very similar to what he showed against Titan in the last game. So we'll see if Zog was actually watching that matchup and what he learned and what he's gonna do. But I can't imagine that Time's going to be using the same exact strategy this a second time around. He knows that he's been scouted out. He knows that the strategy's been used, and perhaps Zog can come up with something to try and counter it. As Zog is about halfway done on his hatchery, Zerglings will be able to make it up the ramp, and now I don't even see a Zealot. So 4 Zerglings going to perhaps be able to make or do a little bit of damage running through the mineral line.
Yeah, we'll see whether they're able to take down a probe or two. We see Time immediately microing back those probes, and now he's going to do his best to defend against these 4 lings, and it looks like Zog's going to try to take down at least one probe here. Time doing a nice job of microing back that one low probe at 5 HP, and Time's going to force him out, and now placing down that Nexus. So it's going to be a 1-gate expand here, this time placing down that Nexus before the second gate even finishes. So I like that by Time. He saw that there was no gas out for Zog early on. He probably saw that Zog was going to be going for that third hatch, and without that gas, you're not able to put a lot of pressure on the Protoss. So 1 gate is all it's really going to take for Time to defend this.
Yeah, so 1 gate, the Stalker now just making his way out. We can see that the third base has already been established by Zog, and Zog changing the rally position over into the natural expansion as well. So very interesting. Zog having all of his bases hockeyed into one location, and now an Overlord being forced to pull back as a Stalker going to venture a little bit far inside the space. It may not work out well, especially as Zog is going to be able to fight on creep. The Queen going to be able to get in a little bit of damage. However, Drone's taking a little bit of damage as well. And now I believe the Stalker is going to take 5 hits in order to shoot down a drone, and there it goes. So taking a look at the total losses, 175 versus 150. Only 1 worker kill for, I believe, Time. So not much to talk about there.
Yeah, getting a little bit of scouting, seeing that speed's still not done for his opponent. He does have a cannon about to finish, and Time does have these 2 sentries. So as these 8 lings make their way across the field, they're not going to be able to do too much damage with this wall off, and Time is successfully, not defended against because no push came, but he's gotten this expansion up without taking any damage, and I think he's in a good position. Though at this point, Zog does have that third, and he's getting it a little bit saturated. The harvester count 29 to 31, but I imagine Zog going to be adding more and more drones in the next several minutes, but then needs to get a bit of scouting information to see what time's going for in the mid game.
Yeah, I'm still surprised that Zog at the 7-minute mark isn't harvesting any gas any longer. This is something a little bit strange, as at some point you do need to make his way in the tier 2. Zog getting a little greedy, knowing that his opponent is currently running off of 2 bases, and I think if time had gone for Void Rays, we would need to see more queens coming in from Zog. But with the robotics facility, this looks exactly like the same build last time, but we do see an earlier Twilight Council. We'll see if he's going to be going for Colossi or perhaps High Templar. There's still so many options that time has not really shown yet. He hasn't tipped his hand on what strategy he really wants to use towards the late game.
He might be going for blink play with that Twilight Council. He's going to get out an observer or two with the robotics facility, and then he's also going to be getting upgrades. He's already chronoing out his level 1. I imagine he's going to be going for level 2, and he's going to have a nice timing here as the level 1 going to finish right as the Twilight Council finishes, allowing him to start level 2 immediately. And level 2 Blink Stalker is very, very powerful. They start taking down roaches and lings quite quickly, and with an observer, actually, nope. All wrong here. A warp prism coming out, no blink started, and a robotics bay. So might have a warp prism harass coming, but it looks like Zog's going to get a little bit of scouting here with his overlord.
Yeah, Zog coming in will be able to scout. He does see, no. Is he going to see the robotics bay? I think yes, he does click on it just in time. I don't think he saw the warp prism though, and we'll see whether or not time will be able to utilize this warp prism very, very effectively. What's also interesting though is that Zog for the past 2 rounds of Spawn Larva has only been producing drones, is now having a 19 drone advantage, but I don't know if he's going to have enough of an army to fight back, as we are now going into Blink and level 2 weapons upgrade, as you mentioned, and both sides really not engaging. Both sides with relatively small armies, 1,500 total resources versus 1,000, but it's really going to, we're really going to see each other just try to feel each other out in just a moment, as Zog needs to at some point figure out what his long-term goal is. Xur cannot win off of drones and minerals alone.
We've got more and more links coming out here. It looks like he's going to have 30 total, and looking to get aggressive going midfield here. Might be just trying to posture a little bit, but now we've got the warp prism play, and we've got sentries in here with these zealots being warped in. So they're going to try to take on these lings. Nice force fields being placed down. They're going to allow the lings and the zealots to go mano a mano, and zealots going to win that one every time. So time has a lot of energy on these sentries, getting good force fields, and again, getting very cost-effective play with these zealots, though he does need to attack me with those zealots, getting caught up against those minerals there, and he's going to be able to escape here, doing a little bit of economic damage, just losing 2 zealots and none of those sentries.
Yeah, but what's rather strange was it was only workers killed in that engagement, so it wasn't a lot of, say, mineral harassment. Total resources lost 625 versus 375, as it looks like the Warp Prism wants to come back and play a little bit more, and it may try to do it at the natural expansion over here.
Yeah, and we do see Colossi coming out, as well as 6 gates for time. So time's going to be charging up here for some sort of timing push. He does have the extended thermal lance almost done, and again we see these sentries in the third, more force fields going off. This time they're going to be able to trap and take down a queen, and they've trapped all these drones as well. Luckily for Zog, these sentries don't do a lot in the way of drone killing, but now once again picking up in this warp prism, being very, very economical and cost efficient with this harassment, taking down, I believe, looks like 5 workers killed in that attack. He'd gotten 1 previously, so just doing a little bit of harassment, and it's at this point not costing him much of anything.
Yeah, it's really not costing him much of anything, and I think time will be moving out with all of those gateways powered now and a level 3 weapons upgrade almost halfway completed, a couple more chrono boosts, and time is going to have a very large army. This is going to be a 2-base push with Colossi, and sentry harassment has really been the name of the game right now, preventing Zog from doing very much, but Zog does have a 50 food advantage, so we'll see how it really translates. 79 drones versus 52 probes. But then again, we've all seen a Zerg player who tries the macro up a little bit too hard and then unable to fight back. We can see corruptors are now being added as well. 8 Corruptors being added to the air in order to destroy all of these Colossi, but the Stalkers are going to have Blink, level 3 weapons upgrade, and that means that those Corruptors have to be absolutely perfect in terms of their engagement and focus fire. Otherwise, the Stalkers are just going to be able to shoot them out of the sky, and those Colossi will be able to run rampant through the base.
I actually really like this position for Zog. He's got these, he's got Lings, he's got Roaches, and he's got enough Corruptors to take down these Colossi very quickly. And the force of time here is actually pretty puny. He's got these 4 Colossi. If they're taken down quickly, I believe that Zog might be able to come out in this one ahead. He's got horrible positioning here. He's going to allow time to get up onto this high ground and get in a great position against this cliff with the Colossi. And he's going to take down, looks like all the Colossi focused down by the Corruptors. No, it looks like 2 will survive. And Zog very cost inefficient there in that engagement. Now going to try to double back and focus down as many of these Stalkers as possible. Might have his macro win out for him here as another Colossus does go down, and trying to focus down all these Stalkers, but more and more coming for time, and it looks like time going to be pulling back, perhaps waiting for one more round, then pushing forward.
Yeah, you got to remember level 3 weapons upgrade against only level 2 armor upgrade, so it is pretty even in terms of the overall upgrade count. The Colossus, though, able to get in a lot of damage, 21 damage per round of attack after the 3 armor, 18 damage per attack, so still able to slice through a lot. A Colossus may be in a little bit of trouble, but we do see Tunneling Claws has been researched by Zog. So Zog, if he's able to burrow those Roaches and be effective in a game of Whack-A-Mole, he may be able to get a lot more mileage, but time still pushing in. He's been able to blink back the Stalkers that are low on hit points, low on shields, and save them. And it looks like Zog has perhaps reached the tipping point. His 50 food advantage, now an 18 food deficit.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble here. He's got Roaches coming out and needs to group them all together for one final push, maybe with Queens and Drones as well. Time going to be taking down that third. All the drones are burrowed for Zog, though, so that's a very smart move. And if he somehow is able to defend against this, his economy not going to be too hurt. But now we see the time moving up into the natural, and this is a bad position for these Roaches, taking on these Blink Stalkers with the support of these Colossi. And there's the GG. Time makes it 2 in a row for Infinity 7.